station. 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Good morning and welcome into Hometown today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Wally Lukashansky and Cale Zomer up in the WBEV studio with you this morning. And Hometown today is presented by Professional Floor Covering and also brought to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in downtown Beaver Dam. Is that Christmas music I hear, Cale? Because it should be. Because McKinstry's Home Furnishings is having a Christmas in July sale. That's right, McKinstry's Home Furnishings in downtown Beaver Dam is having a Christmas in July sale. Right now is the perfect time to come to McKinstry's and feel the Christmas spirit. This year, you can get a head start on your Christmas shopping with sales on Lazy Boy recliners, end tables, sofas, mattress sets, reclining sofas, pictures, lamps, and accessories. If you name it, it feels like they got it. You go to McKinstry's Home Furnishings and pick a mitten off of their Christmas tree, and you can save up to 50% instantly. McKinstry's offers prompt delivery, or you can take it with you. No waiting. You pick a mitten, you try it on, and you're going to save upwards of $50,000 or $50,000. That would have been crazy, Max. We're going to get really crazy. But you can save 5, 10, 20, up to 50% off that final sales price. Merry Christmas in July. Stop into McKinstry's Home Furnishings for the Christmas in July sale. Hurry, the sale ends Monday, July 28th. Max, I'm very excited to welcome you back on the show. We're joined this morning by FFA State Vice President now, as an incoming freshman, Max Luedtke. Max, it's been a few months since we had you on. How are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I need to get this out of the way at the top of this. You had challenged me on the air to a pancake off at your guys' brunch over at the high school at the very start of summer. You dusted me. I threw 5 at it. You threw like 6 or 7 at it, no problem at all. Just looked at me like, this guy's weak.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. I mean, Wally thought he could take me on, but not a chance.
Just an overachiever over here, Max. And I feel like the last time we talked to you, you were in a very different spot even than you were now in your FFA career. We were saying goodbye to the chapter here in Beaver Dam, and we are now hearing you are going to Madison on scholarship from what you did here. But it doesn't stop there. I kind of let us off. Since we talked to you, you were elected state FFA vice president?
Yeah, so we had our annual convention in June, and I wasn't ready to give up FFA yet, so I ran to serve as a state position and ran against 5 other individuals to represent our area, and I ended up getting elected. So,
well, congratulations, first of all. And I have to ask, what does that actual process look like? Because did you know that you wanted to run for that state officer position like this whole time?
Yeah, I've known pretty much since my sophomore year in high school that it's something that I wanted to do.
My man.
And it's a pretty rigorous process. So coming way back in like March, I had to submit an application, resume, a couple essay responses, and then everything else happened at the convention in June. So it was a 4-part interview process. We went in, there was just a personal interview for like 10 minutes with a panel of judges. Then they put us with 3 other candidates who were randomly from around the state, and we were given 15 minutes to create a workshop to put on for students to see how well we can facilitate and teach students the real message of something while doing it through a fun activity, kind of testing our teamwork, but then also how well we interact with the students. We had another one where it was a stakeholder engagement, so we met with like mock stakeholders. So just throughout the year, we'll be talking with people who give the FFA a lot of money and big sponsors. So how we interact with them, how we talk with sponsors and stakeholders. And then our final one was we had to give a speech. So it's just a 5-minute stand and deliver speech about an agricultural topic to see how we get up in front of people and talk.
That's a fascinating way they go about it. So it's 4 steps, and this is all taking place in how short of a period?
This was all during one day. So
this is one day?
This was the Monday of convention. So those things were all equally weighted along with your resume. And then 2 for smaller point options were little things that you don't necessarily think about, but they judged us on. We had to write a thank you card to the stakeholder after we met with them to see how well we write thank you cards. And then we had to draft up a social media post because we're managing our own social media platforms. So just all sorts of little things to see how it works together. And that just narrowed us down to the top 2 from each section.
And then is it just like voted on at that point when you get to top 2?
So once you find out your top 2, you have to wait. You find out on Wednesday if you're top 2, so you have to wait 2 full days before you find out. So that's a nerve-wracking couple of days.
I believe it.
And then you're sitting in a corner with all the state officer candidates, and they read off the names of the top 2 from each section. And then what they do is they run you down the hallway, up the stairs, and then you go in a room with 2 delegates, so 2 representatives from each chapter in your section. So my section has 27 chapters, so there were almost 60 people in the room, and they were able to ask me questions. I was interact with them for a little bit, and then from there it's up to the delegates to elect who they think would be better.
Wow, that's unbelievable. So talk about hard work that goes into this. I expected here in 4 parts. I thought it was going to be 4 interviews. Interview was just the very first step, and then it's actually like proving and showing to people I can do what I say I can do. I'm going to be able to show that I'm knowledgeable in FFA too. And then you even finish all that off. You're just in top 2, and you go and you get peppered with questions.
Yeah.
How did you prepare for this?
Well, so the speech was the hardest thing to prepare for because I was scared getting in front of judges I might forget my speech. And there was a broad topic that they gave us. So the topic was you're speaking at an annual school board convention about the importance of agriculture education. And then that was the prompt. So they left it kind of open. And what I ended up doing was I emailed the school board here in Beaver Dam to get a few quotes to put in there, and then I just talked about what agriculture education has done for me. So that was a lot of preparation. Other than that, I kind of just went in and for the interview, I've done a few interviews before, so just did that, and yeah.
You're a pro, Max. Well, you know what? I'm really excited for you. This is a great opportunity. I would love to, when we come back from break, I'd love to dive into a little bit about what your responsibilities are going to be, what you hope to achieve, and what just the next 4 years of FFA at the University of Wisconsin might entail for Max Luedtke. But that'll be coming up on the other side of the break, Max. You hang out with me. We'll be back in just a few minutes here on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
DailyDodgeTV.com. We head back down to the Daily Dodge TV studio and Wally Lukashinsky.
Very fitting. I heard it through the grapevine for that. That felt like the perfect song to be playing in the background as you learn all about our good friends over there with professional floor covering. But Max Luedtke in the building, FFA State Vice President, for the second time with me on here. I feel like we've had you on a lot. I know we're going to have you plenty more times. Max, thank you for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. We talked a little bit before the break about how you actually got into this position. A lot of hard work. A long day, a long couple days with nerves too. Now that's behind you. You know you are FFA State Vice President. For people outside of FFA, what exactly does that mean? What are you going to be doing over this next few years?
Yeah, so it's a one-year position.
It's a one-year position.
It's a one-year position.
I'm just used to like elections, and I'm like, all right, he's got a few at least here.
Nope. So it's just a one-year position, but I'll be spending the next year kind of traveling around the state, visiting different FFA chapters, different schools, putting on workshops, interacting with members, and then also going to industry professionals, the government people, advocating for agriculture and agriculture education programs. So this past week I was in Washington, D.C., and there our whole team learned with all the state officers from across the nation on how to be advocates. And then we actually got to go up on Capitol Hill and meet with 4 of our legislators advocating for agriculture education. So that was really cool.
That's an unbelievable experience. You're not even in your college time yet, and you're already having these cool next chapter moves. You mentioned going around to other schools. When you say that, are you saying other colleges where you're working together, or is it you're going to high schools and educating them?
It's high schools. So
okay.
FFA, it's mainly high schoolers. So you can technically be an FFA member for 3 years after you graduate high school. So that's how I'm able to still be a state officer, because I'm still an FFA member. But all the activities are for high schoolers. So this whole year, we'll be the leaders and mentors for the high schoolers. So we'll be going to all the schools in my section, as I mentioned earlier. So I'll be each school for a day or two, putting on workshops, just meeting with the members, seeing all the awesome things that each different school's doing. And then we'll be putting on, like I said, leadership conferences. So we'll do our fall leadership workshops kind of in the month of September, where we'll travel all around the state, put on 10 different workshops in different sections of the state for students to come in, learn how to be the best versions of themselves, be leaders. And then we'll run a few more leadership workshops, one for middle schoolers come in the fall. We'll have a halftime one for chapter leaders, so they're presidents and vice presidents. So we'll put on a few more conferences throughout the year, but really just a lot of time of interacting with members and seeing what they're doing.
Well, in your last sentence, you just said a lot of time, and I want to focus on that because this takes a lot of time, what you're doing, because you already have your school responsibilities. I don't know if do you have work on top of it, because where do you find the time to do everything?
Yeah, so I have 2 jobs that I do still
And you
work.
have 2 jobs on top of this. You are a machine, Max Luedtke.
Well, so I do have a job at Old Hickory Golf Club. I haven't been there much in the past month because
my game scared you away?
Yeah, something like that. But basically, we've been on the road traveling essentially every week. We had off for the 4th of July, so that was nice to spend time with family and friends. But these people who I've met, I've spent the last 5 weeks with them, and there's some already my best friends, and I've only known them for a little bit. So it's a lot of awesome people from across the state. So Old Hickory, I've worked 2 or 3 shifts probably in the past month, and I'll try to put one in next week in the early week because I think I'll be home. But then I also umpire baseball and softball on weekends. So.
Well, and we need more umpires, too. I'm sure you're doing a great job at that. I know Ryan Gerber's going to be fired up to hear we have another person that's actually in the umpiring ranks. So congratulations on that front. Looking ahead, so you want to be at least involved this next year. Do you look to be in the FFA beyond that one as well then? For your 3-year remaining years?
So for sure this year, and then it's kind of up in the air. So the way that they choose, so we have an 11-person officer team. So the state's broken up into 10 different sections, and those 10 sections, there's a representative from each section so that there's sectional representation. And then our president is actually someone from last year's team. So last year's team, they elected someone to serve as the president this year. So they've been around the block. They know what the year entails. So our president, she's from Glenwood City, and so she was a state officer last year, and now she's the state president this year. But as far as opportunities, so there's a chance that could happen. We don't really like thinking about that till the end of the year, because just enjoy the time that we have together, and that's really what it is at this point. And then if I'm not a state officer or anything in the future, then it'll still be a lot of supporting, coming to events, still seeing people and doing what I love, and then I'll have an opportunity to earn my American degree, which is the highest award in FFA. So,
well, I'm rooting for that. I know we got Corey Sparks and I came out and watched you guys' FFA awards as you were handing over power as FFA president here at the chapter in Beaver Dam, and we were hearing your name quite a lot there. You got us fired up for what's coming. So, very excited for what this next year is, and I know you are too. This feels like a cheap, boring question, but there has to be something you're most excited about.
Yeah, so I think I'm most excited for is just getting in front of the members and seeing all the amazing things that they've done. So like I said, this past month, it's been a month of a lot of training. So we spent 2 full weeks in Marshfield, Wisconsin, so the central part of the state where our team came together and we trained on. The first week, we learned a lot about ourselves, and we focused on like our personal strengths and then the strengths of our teammates. And the way that they said it is, that was the week you spend learning about yourself, because the rest of the year is for the members. So that was really cool. So we learned a lot, dove in a lot about ourselves and our personal strengths. And then from there, we went to the Ag Teachers Conference, and we met with Ag teachers. We got to meet them, and then we learned a little bit more about social media training, and then also how to do interviews, just trainings for that. And then we went back to Marshfield, and then we learned how to write a workshop, how to write speeches effectively. So it's been a lot of training. Last week we were in Washington, D.C., learning about advocacy training. So it's been a lot of training, and now we get to go out and finally get in front of members, and so that's going to be really cool. It's been really cool to get to know my whole team and get to experience all this with them, but it's going to be even cooler to see what all the members are doing, because in the end, I'm a state officer because I want to be that mentor for the members. So.
Well said. Yeah, I know at any job that you start, their first month or so, it's a lot of the learning what you're doing. And so that's always not maybe the most fun time, but you learn a lot of things, whether it be places that you can improve upon, and so on and so forth. For you in this process of training, is there one thing that you're like, man, I really gotta get better at this, or this was really challenging for me?
Yeah, so for sure that is keeping track of my schedule. I've never really been...
You and me both, my man.
I've never really managed a calendar myself. A to-do list, it's always been in my head, and I've learned that I can't do that. I need to have a to-do list. I need to have my own calendar. So I have a Google Calendar, which is, I've learned how to use that. So that's been keeping me organized. And then I have a to-do list. And right now I think I have 8 different to-do lists with different deadlines, just a general one. So I think that that's what I've learned that I really got to make sure I'm doing, because even writing down the simplest things where it's I'll never forget this. Well, when you have so many things to think about, you might. So I think just that organization aspect of making sure that I'm documenting everything I have to do, everything that's coming up, because it's going to be a busy year. I can't remember everything in my head anymore.
No, I imagine not. You're a busy man. And I know that when I switched 6 years ago, I became a list guy. And it was the biggest help in the world. My only problem, I wonder if you've run into this, I almost now have too many lists, where it's I'm going to write things down. Well, then I'm going to write everything down.
Yeah, like I said, I have a lot of to-do lists, and so this afternoon, I'm home for a while, so I want to crank out some things on that to-do list, but it's a little overwhelming. It's where do I start, because I did write down so many stuff, and some stuff might take me 5 minutes, some stuff might take 2 hours, so it's I always want to just do those 5-minute projects, so I just get them done, but then I leave myself with a lot of 2-hour projects, and it's then those drag on. So I think figuring out where to start, but then yeah.
Getting started is always the hardest part in anything.
Yeah,
it's just staring at the list and be I'll get to it.
Yeah.
Max, a couple things before we end up letting you go here. One, is there a place where people can follow along and follow your journey, follow the FFA, what the mission is? Where can they go and find that?
Yeah, so to follow my specific journey, I have my own social media page on Facebook and Instagram. It's FFA Section 10. So that's because I'm the Section 10 state officer. So that's my page where I'll be posting updates of kind of what I've been doing throughout the year. Otherwise, Wisconsin FFA, we have our own social media page too. That'll just be general with kind of what's happening throughout the state. And if you ever have any questions about FFA, you can reach out to either Jonathan Yansky or Mackenzie Chitko at Beaver Dam, or else FFA.org has everything that FFA is doing on it. So that's really cool.
You stole my next question. I was just going to say, for people that want to get involved, because it is a great thing too. It doesn't even have to be, you don't have to be living on a farm.
No, for sure. So Beaver Dam, we have over 220 members in our chapter, and I think 8 of those grew up on a farm. So I didn't grow up on a farm. A lot of our members don't. It's so much more than just future farmers. And that's why the FFA changed what they call themselves. We're just the National FFA organization instead of Future Farmers of America, because it's so much more than farming, and they like to it's cultivating premier growth, personal success, and then career readiness through agriculture education. So it's got our agricultural base, but it's really just promoting growing as an individual and then getting ready for your career.
Well, I've been joined this morning by FFA State Vice President Max Luedtke. Max, I got to give you the final word. Anything that you want to plug, or what you're most excited about, anything you want to say here at the very end here?
Yeah, so it's just, I'm really excited for this year ahead, just to get to see, like I said, what the members are doing and everything. And then I guess I'm just going to plug, support FFA at the local level. I know we'll have Beaver Dam coming on, I'm sure, talking about their pork chop dinner. If you ever see fundraisers for youth organizations in general, just support them, because it cultivates the growth of leaders, and they're the next generation of workers in the workforce. So just support the youth, and I think that's what I want to leave it at.
As Stuart Scott would say, Max Luedtke, cooler than the other side of the pillow. So we are going to step aside for a quick break. Thank you so much, Max, for joining me. It was a blast talking with you this morning. We're very fired up to see what you have coming up in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Of course. And when we come back, we're going to be talking with Randy, our good friend over with Professional Floor Covering. That's right on the other side of the break here on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. And welcome back to Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Hometown Today is presented by Professional Floor Covering, and also brought to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in downtown Beaver Dam. I unfortunately had Corey Sparks drop off this live read not too long ago because next Friday, Wally's Dart Disaster is coming to Tower Lanes. If you thought my bowling bonanza was crazy, where I had to bowl for over 7 hours, arm almost fell off, we're going to be doing something similar with darts over at Tower Lane starting at 11 a.m. next Friday. Unfortunately, I am going to have to be playing until I acquire 29,032 points. It's going to be a day of fun, pain, well said, Corey, and we will be accepting in-person and Venmo donations to the Good Karma Brand's John Moser Children's Radiothon. $1 is going to equal 10 points for or against my total. And if you can't make it to Tower Lanes in person, tune in on the Daily Dodge TV YouTube channel so you can either help me or torture me. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm very excited now, actually fun, that will not be a torture device for Wally. We are joined now by Amanda Combs, the Director of Safe Families for Children of Dodge County here. And Amanda, first of all, thank you so much for joining me. We have a fun giveaway we're going to do right off the start here. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, it's our second annual clay shoot. It is second annual Clays for Safe Families. It's happening at Milford Hills Hunt Club in Johnson Creek, kind of Watertown area. And we have 2 tickets to give away.
We have 2 tickets, and this is taking place on August 9th. Mm-hmm. And what time is this going to take place at?
10 a.m.
It's going to take place at 10 a.m. So we are going to do this, Kale. We're going to do the third caller right now is going to be getting 2 tickets. You call in 920-885-4446 or 920-887-9595. We're going to do third caller right now, and that winner is going to get 2 tickets for the second annual Clays for Families event. And can you tell me a little bit, second annual, so whenever I love these early stages of events like this, because after year 1, typically, you learned a lot about what really worked well, and you learned about what didn't work so well. So what has changed from the first year going into the second that I guess you're most excited about?
I'm just really excited that there's people that have already started saying, I'm bringing this person next year and bringing in the competition, because we actually have a prize for the best team, the best individual shooter, and the worst individual shooter to be able to just have a little fun there. So it just brings in a lot of people that haven't heard about Safe Families before, and they get to experience something fun together and then hear about who we are, what we do.
I like having the not so talented prize as well, because then you can still advocate, go out there, have fun. You might win a prize if you're not the best. There's no shame in going out there, supporting a good cause, and giving a little pop to this too. So we've talked about, obviously this is the second year now. What was the big reception is a lot of people were very excited to come back for year 2. But what was it about year 1 that you're like, I kind of want to keep doing this for a while?
It's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And most fundraisers, I would say, target kind of the, social life of maybe the girls groups and things like that. But this is really just anyone can come, and even children can come if they have their hunter safety completed, or they can just walk around with their parents, their guardians, whoever brings them, and just kind of experience the day.
Well, I would love to talk a little bit before we jump into what you guys do as a whole beyond this event too. We mentioned this event is going to be on August 9th. Where can people learn more information about it? Is there like a Facebook page or something where they can look and get more details?
Yeah, so it's on our website, which is safefamilieswi.org, but there's also a specific site for the clay shoot. It is givebutter.com/SF2025 clays.
Givebutter.com? Is that what it is?
Yes, Give Butter.
Where did that come from?
It is one of the sites that's used by a lot of different organizations.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I just heard it. I'm like, there might be a story here. I got to at least ask. All right. Well, I would love to dive in a little bit more then about what you guys do actually at Safe Families, because this event is going to go to a lot of good. But there's a lot of people that don't know exactly what you guys do. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we actually started in this area in 2021, but we've been national since 2003 and in the state of Wisconsin since 2011. And we kind of grow naturally from kind of a local site. So ours is in Watertown, our offices are in Watertown, and we provide extended family-like supports to parents that don't have that in their natural life. You know, I think of if I come up with a crisis or a challenge, I can call my mom, I can call my sister, I can call one of my many cousins, aunts, uncles, and there's families that are calling us that don't even have an emergency contact to put down when we ask them for an emergency contact. So that's the level of support that we're trying to provide is the aunties, the uncles, the cousins. We have host families that are vetted to watch kids in their homes, either just during the day or overnight. People that are vetted to provide friendship to a parent, just someone to walk alongside them. And we also have mentors for the parents. We call them family coaches. And then resource friends. So those are kind of our people that have goods or services that they want to provide to the families that we're supporting.
Well, it's really exciting. So I know with the name, a lot of people are like initially thinking it's mostly going to help children, obviously, in these tough situations. But it sounds like you have a lot of resources for the parents of that, whether it be like older siblings in the family. You guys do a little bit of everything if people do have a difficult home life.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing with that too is, when children are going through a crisis or a struggle as well, what they're looking for is their parent to be stable. So when we're looking to support the parent and provide stability to that environment, that also is then supporting the children.
It is. Well, and then we talk about it, I feel like, on this show quite a bit, but with a lot of these programs too, I feel like the children can sometimes get forgotten. So there's a lot of money that doesn't go in these areas because those aren't the voices that we hear every day about I need help too. So what you guys are doing, it's a tremendous thing. And with this event coming up on August 9th, what does the proceeds go to? Like, is there a specific thing that's going to be helped out, or is it kind of spread out all around?
Yeah, so it's spread out around because we are a volunteer movement. So
Sure.
When I say host family, family friend, family coach, resource friend, those are all volunteers. So we have a very limited staff. We have the need for obviously background checks and training and things like that. But our overhead is very small. In Dodge County alone, we're only $40,000 for the entire year. And so we are doing that, supporting families through just a lot of volunteers. So the need for financial donations is probably equal to the need for volunteers because that's our bread and butter. That's who actually supports and connects with the families. And it kind of breaks down that barrier of someone being paid to help you.
Yeah, well, we hear about it so often too. It's like, yes, cash donations are so appreciated and they help a lot. But like time donations and being a volunteer, it's almost equally as important with a lot of organizations. It takes a village for a lot of these projects. For you guys, are you constantly, I imagine, looking for volunteers? And if you are, where can people go to learn more about that?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, actually. It's our catch-22 of we always need more volunteers because our volunteers just end up falling in love with these families, and then they can no longer accept another match because they're just doing life with the families beyond when we are formally facilitating it. And so when people are looking to see if they have a spot that would be good for them to volunteer, I say that anyone can volunteer. Anyone can find a place to volunteer with Safe Families because there's so many different ways to do that. But our website actually has safefamilieswi.org/volunteer has some great videos about what each different volunteer role does, and it has links on there to apply right away.
And have you ever in your life volunteered for a good cause and you left the end of the event and you're upset that you did it?
Oh,
no
absolutely
one is.
not. I actually volunteer with Safe Families as well.
Yeah, because it's one of those, you leave, you feel good, you feel that you're making a difference, and you know that person appreciates it, and it's going to go a long way for them too. So this is just another example of a great cause that if you need something or a reason to go and donate, please do. But Amanda, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'd love to talk a little bit more, dive into the event. I'd love to get a little more background about how long you've been involved, and we'll see where else we can uncover in the next little block here. But that'll be next here on Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. And welcome back to Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Hometown Today is presented by Professional Floor Covering, also brought to you by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in downtown Beaver Dam. Wally Lukashenski with you this morning, and big thanks to Kale Zomer up in the WBEV studios, making us sound good. And Kale, we got to put you to work again, because we are going to do our giveaway this block as well. So we are going to do the third caller right now that calls in 920-885-4446. You are going to be winning 2 tickets to the second annual Clays for Families coming up on August 9th. So that is a third caller right now that calls in. We'll be getting 2 tickets for that event coming up in just a few weeks. August 9th, it is crazy. It's that close. It doesn't make me feel good. But I'm joined this morning by Amanda Combs, the Director of Safe Families for Children here in Dodge County. And Amanda, we were talking a little bit about the event, but we were talking about volunteering too. And before we dive back into some of the stories that you've heard, I have to hear your story. How did you become involved, and now still involved now in a big role as a director here? Where did this all come for you?
Yeah, so my family actually started volunteering just through our local church. We partner with a lot of churches for our teams of volunteers, and the church that we were attending, they are our team. And so we partnered with them and started volunteering in 2018. And that feels like it was yesterday, but it was not. And we accepted our first hosting placement at probably 2 weeks in. And that was definitely a life-changing event for us, because, just seeing a mom just really want the best for her baby and being able to support by giving her a break was just an amazing experience. And we've been volunteering. We've had about 10 kids coming in and out of our home since then, and they always go home, which is the great thing with Safe Families. Our return to parent rate is about 95% statewide.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And so when the kids come into our home, the first thing is we're auntie, uncle. We're not a new mom, new dad. It's the parent is still in charge. They're still leading the show. And so getting to connect with that parent in those ways of, just really leaning on them for knowing their own child. Our actual longest hosting was in 2019. And it was right before COVID, right before everything shut down. I actually started working here in 2021 to launch this area. But that longest hosting was actually a mom who was incarcerated when she delivered. And we had her baby from the hospital. We didn't know who she was. She had to be removed before we could go pick up the baby. And it was actually a month before we were able to go and bring him for a visit, because there was a lot of red tape paperwork with the facility that she was at. And I was not really sure how she would handle that and how the baby would handle that. And I was kind of like, is she going to be mad at me? Is the baby going to recognize her? Just a month of bonding with my family at home and not seeing their mom. And I went in for that visit and handed her baby to her, and he just nuzzled in her shoulder and cooed and was so joyful in ways that he never was at our house. He was content, but he was never with his mom. And when I saw that moment where this baby bonded with our family but still knew this is my mom, that was really a turning point for me, knowing that this is what I wanted to get into.
Well, that's a phenomenal story in its own right. I feel almost like impossible to transition to asking about other stories, but that's an amazing one that you had to experience. What are some of these other stories that you have been able to hear or see with your own eyes even?
Yeah, there's been actually quite a few recently, families that a parent is a single parent, they have multiple children, no support system, and they need either medical treatment or mental health care. And they're putting it off because they don't have a place for their children to go. So there's been surgeries that have happened. There's been, medication adjustments that need inpatient supervision. And so being able to support those families in getting their selves more stable and their selves more healthy for their children has been a really beautiful thing to see. And then the relationship that kind of happens after that, I'm still seeing hosting. People go to the park with their friends that they've been connected to, sleepovers with what we call cousins, because the whole family gets to be involved when it's a hosting. And then even in a family friendship, your kids can come with you to those park dates, those coffee shops, those, trips to the grocery store, whatever that means for a family. And it's just the whole family getting involved.
I like it how it's not like about separating families. It's about building bigger families, because you are then in turn becoming a part of these families yourselves. You're giving your time. I mean, that's a really special thing. I know we only have a few minutes left, so I would love to again go over how can people, if they want to volunteer and do something that you are doing, what can they do? Where do they go to sign up?
Yeah, so safefamilieswi.org/volunteer will give them all those great videos about different roles and what that means for them, and a link to apply right on there. And then safefamilieswi.org/donate if they want to get involved financially. And of course, the clay shoot's coming up. We have those tickets to give away, but we also have some tickets left to purchase. And so that is givebutter.com/SF2025 clays.
I do love the givebutter.com.
Yeah.
That's easy to remember for me, too. Well, that's going to be a great event. That's coming up on August 9th. And where was that event, the second annual clay shoot?
It's at Milford Hills Hunt Club in Johnson Creek. It's kind of Watertown area if you look at the map, but it's, Johnson Creek address.
Well, we have a lot of people around here, even in our own office, that are clay shooters. So I'm sure that this is going to be a great event. Second annual, hopefully we have many more to come. I imagine that's the goal down the road here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Well, let's hope so. I expect to be talking with Amanda Combs next year, talking about the third annual around this time of year. But Amanda, thank you so much for joining me this morning. And good luck coming up here with the clay shoot here in about a month.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And Kale, we have just a brief moment left. I have to ask you, I know we have some things going on in the community here with about a minute left. I wanted to throw it to you and see if there's anything specific you want to highlight this morning.
Oh, I tell you what, Wally, I'm pretty excited because it's a big week. Today kicks off the Washington County Fair.
It does. I know we actually have teammates en route right now to set up. I'll be out there tomorrow. We'll be there for 2 hours on Hometown Today from 9 to 11 for the Washington County Fair. You're manning the studio down here. You're making sure we sound good back in Dodge County, so I very much appreciate you.
Happy to help out. Yeah, so Wade will be out there this afternoon from 1 till 4 broadcasting live, so you can tune in then. Wally, you'll be out there live tomorrow from 9 to 11. And then our pal Ninja is going to be broadcasting live out there on Thursday afternoon from 1 until 4. So it's going to be a fun time.
It's going to be a great time, Kale. And I think that's about all we have for you guys today. That's going to do it for us at Hometown Today. We'll see you at the Washington County Fair tomorrow at 9 a.m. So make sure you stay here. We got Community Comment coming up next. That's next on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.